Ashley, what's going on these days? Talk to me about your latest painting that you're working on or you've completed. I see
Okay.
things behind there.
Yeah, the painting that's behind me right here, the big one, this is a painting that I'm doing in the latest certification training I am in at Musea. And it is the Animistica is the name of the course. And I'm getting a certification as an intentional creativity cura, is healing arts, metacognitive drawing and medicine painting and ritual. And it's been a really wonderful experience. Each one of these courses at Musea just brings so much more from within that I can use for my soul work, which is the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary. The Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary is in development, and it is going to be a streaming web series for unicorns and wild things of all ages. And in particular, I want to appeal to 9-year-olds because I heard the horrible, distressing fact that 9 years old is a low end for um, children committing suicide as young as 9 years old. So my intention is to have this Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary show in which we are doing intentional creativity processes and imparting these children with tools to be able to help them navigate being alive, being in this world which has turned upside down and around and around. And 9 years old, I just learned today that is a crucial age where children start feeling separate, like an individual, rather than just a part of the whole, and that they can feel really lost. And that one of the things like they do in the Waldorf schools is they teach them how to make their own food and to make their own clothes and to help them feel self-sufficient in a world that is overwhelming even to us as adults. So that's my soul work. And right now, through the Animistica course, we are all individually working on our own soul work, a book. And so my book is going to be the Stardust Unicorn Sanctuary. It's about my story of being before I was born, choosing what would be the most exciting thing for me to be, come down to planet Earth, and that was to be a Stardust unicorn. And I would say, there's so many wonderful things about being a unicorn, but there are also things about being a unicorn that may even be your very favorite thing about being a unicorn, that you can be ridiculed or teased, all of those things. So I want to bring tools to all of the inner unicorns and wild things so that we can not only navigate and survive, but thrive and hopefully be able to help all the other unicorns and wild things which are in all of us, but that so many have been lost, and there's just no way that we're connected with our magic, with our inner um, childhood and wonder and artistry. And one thing that's really important for me is to help get children and adults of all ages knowing that creativity is a gift that we give to ourselves. So many people I know are artists. Oh, well, I'm not good. I'm not talented. Well, being an artist doesn't have anything to do with talent. Talent has to do with, if you're doing, traditional painting, art, all of those things. You want to be in a fancy gallery, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right? Classically trained. This isn't about being classically trained. This isn't about innate talent. It's the fact that every single one of us is creative by nature, and that when we're children and we're vulnerable, someone says, oh, that doesn't look like a tree, or that doesn't look like a person, then all of a sudden we get caught up in what somebody else's idea of what our personal creations should look like. And that is absolutely nobody's business. And to be able to create, to paint, to draw, to dance, to do any of those things, we're doing those things for ourselves to be able to express our joy and our emotions. Because even if we have wonderful talk therapists, like I do, I've seen a talk therapist weekly for about a decade now, worked through all sorts of stuff around and about, but there's a way that trauma and that energy stays in our bodies that does not get dispelled by talking, right? So there's this energy in you, and I want to put it on the canvas. I want to move it through. In particular, trauma is really, for me, that was my first experience with intentional creativity. Was I had no idea what it was. I just knew I wanted to heal trauma. And through the act of painting, through picking colors that represent parts of yourself, through putting that on the canvas, through the energy that's in your field, going through your arm, through your hand, even hands on the canvas, which is what I did, just like didn't even use a brush at first. I was just getting that out. You're moving that energy, that field all through you into the physical form onto the canvas. And you can be liberated from things that have been keeping you down, sometimes for your whole life. And I know that sounds like a big claim, but it's absolutely true. My very first painting I did, intentional creativity, I healed trauma that 10 years of, well, let's say at the time it would have been 5 years of training, of therapy had not shifted. One painting, 2 days of a weekend, I transformed, moved energy out of my body onto a canvas. And that canvas, that painting, is a medicine painting. When I look at that painting now, it's a woman coming up through the waves, out of the waves. It's called Up from the Depths. And for me, I look at that painting and see myself moving myself up from the depths of trauma and being just consumed by it into the freedom that I gave myself by doing this painting through this process. And that's what I want to teach children. I want to teach children that. I want to teach adults that to be creative is a gift you give yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Maybe it does if you have talent or you want, that you want to get caught up in that, but this has nothing to do with that. That has to do that we are creations and we are here to create. We were created by the creator, whatever that is, and we are here to create. And by the act of creating, we tap into the greatest joy and self-awareness and liberation that I have ever experienced. And to be able to have a tool that helps us in the most difficult times. By virtue of being alive, we're all going to suffer. There's going to be suffering, loss, all of those things. But with the tool of intentional creativity, you can suffer and feel joy simultaneously. To be able to weave a red thread of connectivity through intentional creativity painting through your life can help draw you through those most difficult times. So you could be at your painting, putting marks for, say, in January, my partner and I lost our kitty, Cleopatra. And so I was doing a painting and I was crying with the sheer joy of painting and making color and line really brought home to me what Shiloh Sophia says to us all, which is when you're suffering, if you drag yourself to the canvas, because at that canvas, you will find the joy of love and being alive that will help carry you through, even simultaneously grieving. And it is mind blowing to be painting and crying, sorrow for the loss of our kitty, and with joy and the connection of love to the oneness that we all are. That's
Wow.
the short answer.
Yeah.